We're going to now focus on the transformations where we have left and right shift changes for the y equals sine of x function. So to review with you again, to graph the sine function, the A tells you your amplitude and if you have any reflections going on. The B value tells you your period, 2 pi over B. The D value here tells you, do you shift up or down? If it's a positive D, you shift up. A negative D, you move down. So we've already taught you that. Here is the new thing. Inside of this parentheses is where you'll have a shift change, left or right. So what we do is we do endpoints, we call them. We take this parentheses and we will set it equal to 0. And we will set it equal to 2 pi, and we will solve those for x. And that'll be our starting point, our left end point, and our right end point. Now you don't need to write anything on this slide down. I just want to show you how things affect. Again, the A is affected by the amplitude. This affects the period. This affects the horizontal shift. And this affects the vertical shift. So I just took this from a different book. I kind of liked it. I'll put it together. All right. So here is our function. F of x equals the sine of x minus pi over 3. So identify the amplitude first. So my amplitude is 1. My B value is right here, and that is 1. So that means my period is 2 pi over 1, which is 2 pi. So same as my parent function. Is there any translations left or right? Yes. So if you look at this parentheses here, it's telling us we're going to shift left or right. I'm not sure what yet. We'll take care of that in a little bit. So yes. Are there any reflections? Is there a negative in front of the sine function? No, there's not. So we don't have to worry about that. So what we do is we take this purple piece and we set it equal to 0 and 2 pi. So x minus pi over 3 equals 0 and x minus pi over 3 equals 2 pi. And we solve these for x. So I'm going to add pi to both, or pi over 3 to both sides. So there's my starting point, my left end point. And then I'm going to add pi over 3 to the second equation. Blake, just take your boots off. Just take them off, okay? My son's here today, so x equals, I'm going to change that 2 pi to like denominator. 6 pi over 3 plus pi over 3 is 7 pi over 3. All right, I'm ready to go now. I can go ahead and graph this function. So I come up here, my amplitude is 1 and my period is 2 pi. So I'm going to just remember that for now. Okay, so normally I would start here, but I have a translation. So I'm going to start at pi over 3, and then I'm going to stop at my right end point of 7 pi over 3. So here's my left end point, here's my right end point. And I'm going to go up 1 and down 1. Now what I have to do is I have to split this revolution, the left and right endpoint, into 4 equal parts. So I want to find the midpoint between pi over 3 and 7 pi over 3. So you can use the midpoint formula. Pi over 3 plus 7 pi over 3, that's adding them together, but then we have to take half of it, so divide it by 2. So pi over 3 plus 7 pi over 3 is 8 pi over 3. And then we divide it by 2. Now simplify that. 8 pi over 3 You have to change it to multiplication and then flip it. So instead of it being 2 over 1, it's going to be 1 over 2. So now we get 8 pi over 6, which reduces to 4 pi over 3. So the halfway point that we just found then is 4 pi over 3. Now we have to split up into 2 more equal parts, here and there. So we use the midpoint formula again. Pi over 3 plus 4 pi over 3, what's the halfway point? So you add the 2 pieces together and divide by 2. So we get 5 pi over 3. Divided by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2. Then you get 5 pi over 6. Now we want to find the halfway point again, so let's put this in purple. So we're going to add 4 pi over 3 and 7 pi over 3. 4 pi over 3 plus 7 pi over 3 divided by 2. 4 pi over 3 plus 7 pi over 3 is 11 pi over 3. Divided by 2 is the same as multiplying by 1/2, so it's 11 pi over 6. Again, you got to be good with your fractions. All right, now we are graphing the sine function. So we're going to start in the middle at our first left endpoint, go up to the middle, to the bottom, to the middle. There is our sine function.